Hello, everybody. I have been working on setting up a new mic today. We're back on this channel. You know the vibes. You guys loving the videos. I appreciate it. We're here today to talk some Champions League semifinal predictions. Walk through a couple things I want to talk about. This is going to be happening next Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm very excited because they're spaced out finally, right? Obviously, they're always spaced out, but it's nice that the quarterfinals, they have them stacked still. We get to watch one match on Tuesday. We get to watch another match on Wednesday. So that's very exciting. I figured it would be a good time to make this video because we got a couple days to think about it. We got Dortmund matching up against PSG at home. Dortmund is at home first leg. And then we have Bayern at home matching up against Madrid in the first leg. The second legs will be in the following week. And it's very exciting. There's a lot of storylines here. Dortmund, will they get to a full German final versus Bayern? They've played PSG a lot recently over the last few years. PSG, right? Is Mbappe going to deliver? It's finally a team that feels like a team. It's not just a team of assembled stars. They do feel like they're a team this year. I've watched them play. There is a noticeable difference. Can they do enough? They capitalized on Barcelona's red card. I think Barcelona was hard done by the last matchup, but PSG took advantage of the opportunity they were given. And then you got Bayern and Madrid, two of the most historic, legendary clubs, the most legendary club being Real Madrid. That's a crazy matchup. I think that one's being really underrated. I think a lot about Bayern Munich this year is being overlooked because of, how they've underperformed in the league. After all, Tuchel is a Champions League manager. He is a very good manager in the Champions League. Got PSG to the final, won Chelsea a Champions League. And he was doing a lot of this kind of like early years as a manager, just going in, winning trophies for teams and major trophies. And then, Madrid are the daddies of this competition. Ancelotti looks like he's in an edit every time you see a photo of him. So it's very exciting to look forward to. This is going to be next Tuesday. I wanted to kind of go through this with you guys. We're going to talk some predictions and talk some things right now. So just in terms of this year's Champions League, I think the semifinals this year are as close to 50-50 as predicting as you can possibly get. This is not a year where we've got a Liverpool-Villarreal semifinal and you just know Liverpool are too good. It's not one of those years. You don't have a Man City that's overly dominant and way better than every team. I can safely say that all four of these teams could probably all go on to win it, for sure. Are Dortmund going to be the least favorite out of the four? Absolutely. But once you get to that one-leg final, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And these teams are all competent, disciplined enough to go ahead and do it. So the first semifinal, the PSG-Dortmund game, I think Dortmund's at a bit of a disadvantage being at home first leg. I thought them being at home in a second leg really helped them. They got some nice momentum at the end of the first leg versus Madrid, brought that home, ended up winning 4-2, and they go on, and the place was rocking. So I think it's a huge advantage that PSG have that second leg at home, but PSG have already shown us that they can perform away. They were down 4-2 aggregate at Barcelona. It was looking over. The pressure was on. They had a red card, Barcelona did, and PSG go on and score 4 goals. Just like that. So the PSG have shown us they can do it. Doesn't matter. So that one's a very interesting one. I think that favors PSG a little bit. I think if PSG walk out of that one with a 1-goal lead or a draw, it's looking very good for them to return back at home. The PSG fans go crazy. So my pick in that game is PSG, but I would not sleep on Dortmund at all, man. Dortmund right now are playing with house money. They have nothing to lose. They were not expected to make it this far. And that's just the beauty of the Champions League. A lot of times in the quarterfinals, we see these upsets happen. A lot of times in the previous few years, though, when we do have an upset in the quarterfinals, that team usually goes on to lose in the semifinals. And I'll show you what I'm talking about with that. So I do feel like there's a lot of things that are pointing me towards PSG. They have the best player in the world. Mbappe is the best player in the world. I'm not going to ever, in a semifinal or a major match, choose against the best player in the world. Mbappe has already shown us that. If you haven't seen the last World Cup, Mbappe has shown us many times that he is him. He will turn up in the big games when it matters. And I just don't know. I think it was a different story with Barcelona and how they were able to really control him. Crazy good center backs on Barcelona, obviously. I think they made some mistakes, but I thought Koundé was fantastic. Araujo, besides that, the obvious red card. I think it's a different story with Dortmund. Dortmund have a way shakier back line. It's going to be way more of a tough task for them. Mbappe and Dembele are going to be having a nice time out on the wings versus them. So that is a little bit of another talking point for that matchup, and that's why I'll probably just roll PSG. Let's talk about the other game real quick. Bayern, Madrid. Madrid, look, for me, this is the thing with Madrid. They run this competition. They do. They are the daddies of this competition. But the recent Madrid era of this UCL crazy runs they have, right? The recent, let's say the last couple years. Madrid, in my opinion, the last couple years, we're not talking about the Cristiano Ronaldo Madrid, they always overperform when they are not favored. They always turn up for a crazy upset. They always go and get that win when they're not necessarily expected to. And Man City were by far, everyone was saying, damn, right? 3-3 heading to Man City. Man City's going to win. Man City were a lot more favored in that, and Madrid just weathered the storm, got the early goal, conceded in the end, and then ended up winning in penalties, right? And Man City, look, if we're in this Final Four with Man City, I'm saying Man City's winning. It's going to be tough for anyone to take them down. I thought that was a really bad matchup for Bayern Munich. But Madrid are so tactically smart. They are happy to let a team have possession. They are happy to adjust accordingly. Bayern is a different team because Bayern are not going to be that team like Madrid, that like Man City, that are going to just sit there and soak up possession. Bayern are one of those teams that really go for goal, and they're deadly on the counter. They're deadly. They have a guy like Sane who can play out a target to Kane, who can play into Musiala. They have a lot. Watch out for them on the counter. It's a whole different tactical setup. And again, it's a big task for Ancelotti. Going down now, his stock is rising up, but it's a huge task. Tuchel is a huge, huge winner in the Champions League. Obviously, winning with Chelsea that one year, getting PSG to the final. He is a Champions League manager. Bayern have severely underperformed this year in the league. Dortmund have done the same. Do they care? No, they're playing for a Champions League final. So I'm going to say I'm going to slightly favor Madrid, and it's the same reason as the Dortmund matchup. I just think that Madrid, it's not even the same as going to PSG. You are going to Bayern. The only way I can see Bayern really doing this is if they get a couple goals in that first one. It's going to be so tough for them to go into Real Madrid and win straight up. Like, it's going to be really tough to go there during a second leg. I mean, you feel the pressure when you go to Real Madrid. You feel the pressure. So, man, am I going to ever choose against Real Madrid, even though I do like Bayern Munich? Absolutely not. So my prediction is going to be probably PSG, Real Madrid. But if you came to me and told me that it's going to be Dortmund and Bayern, I'm not even surprised. Even PSG Bayern, you know? And you know what? This is the beauty of the Champions League. One leg final, anything can happen. Now, I want to take you guys back a little bit here, right? And I want to talk to you a little bit about the Champions League. So obviously this year, in my opinion, Man City were a major favorite for this tournament. Okay, let's go back just even to last year, right? Madrid beat Liverpool 6-2. 6-2, right? 6-2. Crazy. Even Bayern beating PSG 3-0. This was a surprise to a lot of people. This was still when Messi was there. Mbappe, right? This was a surprise to people that they done this well. And then they kept a clean sheet over 2 legs, right? People were expecting, I think, a little bit of a closer matchup here, and Bayern just did not turn up for it. Man City killed them. Man City then with Madrid, right? And then, I would even say this. This was the year that Napoli was expected to come out of this right side. This was the year. Everyone was like, okay, Napoli's them. They are different, right? Milan take care of them, and this is what I'm talking about. Milan upset them. Milan lose to Inter. This happens a lot in the quarterfinals. I don't know what it is. Didn't happen on the other side, but Inter Milan as well, right? Man City was by far the favorite in this final, and they hardly won. Inter was dominating them in the second half. So we just looking back to this, right? You even go back to the year before. Villarreal beat Bayern Munich in the last couple minutes of that one. Chukwueze, I believe, scored. And that was never expected, right? And then what happens? Liverpool beat Villarreal. So that's kind of the nature of how a lot of this works, right? The Madrid City was insane. This was the year that Madrid were going crazy. They were going stupid. They last second goals, right? Same thing with Chelsea. Benzema scoring like crazy. This was the craziest year for Real Madrid in the Champions League. This was like crazy. And then everyone kind of was saying that, as historic as the run was for Madrid knocking everybody out, that I swear Liverpool, a lot of people thought Liverpool was going to win this one. Right? That was the year. And then the same thing goes for this one. Chelsea beat City in the final, and everyone's expecting City to win. And Tuchel outmanages him, and they get the job done. Even Chelsea goes ahead and beats Real Madrid, who just beat Liverpool. So it's one of those ones where the Champions League is extremely unpredictable. You're never going to know exactly what's going to happen. Odds-wise, Opta is saying that they feel Real Madrid has a 66.3% chance to get to the final, and a 40% chance to win. Dortmund statistically have the lowest odds to win. the way this is, but Dortmund, obviously, odds-wise, they have a better chance because look at the odds for the PSG-Dortmund match, right? PSG is about 60% favored. Dortmund's about 40% favored, right? Bayern is way less favored in their semifinal matchup than Dortmund are with PSG, which is interesting, but I guess statistically it makes sense, right? Because who the hell is going to choose against Real Madrid? And data-wise, data can only, I don't know. You got to be careful with the data because I'm sure there's a lot of data sometimes that will tell you that Real Madrid is not going to win, and don't look at the data because you know what it is with Real Madrid. And we'll see. One goal changes all these odds, by the way. And one more talking point I have here is that one more talking point I have about this matchup. What version of PSG are we going to see? Are we going to see the one in the round of 16 where they looked like a complete team? Or are we going to see the one that was kind of discombobulated a bit in the quarterfinals versus Barca? I'm proud of them for taking advantage of that red card and getting it done. But what team are we going to see out of those two, right? That's the question mark. So very exciting times ahead for this draw. I'm so excited for next week. I think anything can happen this time around. This is not one of those years where I feel like we have one semifinalist or two that I'm like, I don't think there's any chance they win. So last year, basically, when I was looking at this matchup, Real Madrid and Man City, I said, whoever's winning this side is winning it all. I didn't even give either of these two teams a chance, right? In the previous year, I said the same thing, though. I kind of felt as good as Liverpool were, as crazy as they were this year, I felt anyone that won that matchup there was going to win. That's just kind of how I felt. So over the years, it's kind of been that way. And this year, I'm telling you right now, I don't feel that way about this side because I think whoever wins in this side is going to have to either deal with a psychotic Dortmund in one leg, right? Or PSG, who have the best player in the world and actually have a team around them this year. So it's one of those where it's a very exciting time to be a football fan. Let me know who you guys think is going to win it all. Wow, I can't wait. See you later, boys. Peace.